What's going on YouTube? HATBLS coming to you today, fresh off of a 3v3 win. Myself, Marcus Hayden, and Bobby Buckets, two phenomenal players and two great guys, decided to team up for the 3v3 event on GOATformat.com. Won the event. For this event, I played a very special deck that I've been working on and I've been in the builder for, trying to adjust to the current meta calls. I've gotten a lot of compliments from various people saying, what a great deck, what a great meta call. Let's go ahead and break down the deck. I'm not going to spend too long on certain things just because it is a Chaos Turbo deck, but there is some cool modifications. So for monster counts, we're doing 21, still main decking the Kaiku, 2 Spirit Reapers in the main. For the spells, 11 of them. And then for the traps, we're doing my standard 8 traps. So let's go ahead and talk about the Spirit Reapers here. The reason why I put in the Spirit Reapers is I thought that they would be more beneficial than Night Assailant. I think that Warriors is dominating right now, and Spirit Reaper is a very hard card to deal with for Warriors. It's actually similar to the scenario where if it's flipped face up, they just have no way to deal with it outside of using like Exiled Force, Ninja Grandmaster, Ring, Snatch. So it requires an answer, and also Spirit Reaper's effect, taking a card from hand, is very powerful. Anytime that you have a card that has a built-in +1, like Don Zalug or Spirit Reaper or Dekoichi drawing or anything like Spy, like taking another Spy, +1 is kind of the whole point of Yugioh, and Spirit Reaper requires an answer. So if it's going to be answered with Ring or Mirror Force, that just allows like free reign for my BLS and the Sork later. So I think Spirit Reaper is very, very underrepresented right now. And I know Italy has been on Spirit Reaper for a while, so I decided to give it a go. And I'm main decking 2 Mind Controls today. These are in instead of Upstart Goblin. Thought that there'd be a mix of Warriors and Turbo, and I needed to fit in the Reapers. So I looked at the Upstarts and thought that, okay, Upstart sucks against Burn. I'm okay with slowing my deck down to fit in the Reapers, and I felt like the Mind Controls would be better overall because they have such synergy with the Spirit Reaper. You know, think about responding to a T-set at all times. So if you're going second and your opponent T-sets, what's a good play? I think Normal Summon Reaper, Mind Control is a great play. So that's why I have this breakdown here. Side deck, 2 Gorillas, good against Warriors, 2 Kinetics, good against Warriors. Jinzo has to go with the Call of the Haunted. I've been on this Jinzo call for a long time. It's really good, has a lot of different uses. 2 Kaikus in the side for the mirror match, so that'd be 3 Taikus total for the mirror. 1 Mobius, 1 Tsukiyomi, good against Control and good against Warriors. 2 Walks for Burn, Swords for Warriors, and 2 Sakus. I could side 11 cards for Warriors, which is what I do. I put in everything except these 2 Kaikus and these 2 Walks, and I would take out a Sork, 2 Dekoichis, the Noblemans, the Mind Controls, the Shoots, depending on first or second other cards as well. I think it's a very versatile deck, and it served me well in this event. I really enjoyed the Spirit Reaper, and it was really powerful, and we're going to go over a replay of myself versus Don't Copy. Okay, he chooses to go first, and he has an absolutely miserable hand, so he has to do his Thunder Dragon still, T-set, and just pass. Our hand, on the other hand, is quite exceptional. Kind of a small decision point whether or not to use the Nobleman or not. Arguments for not using the Nobleman is that you want to draw a flip monster yourself. But the problem is like, if this is Spy, because I'm going to end up Noblemanning this regardless, and I draw a Spy, all of a sudden I'm drawing Spies that can't accomplish anything and get their plus. So it's kind of a gamble here, and I think still potting before is fine, just in case it's Dekoichi. And we always Nobleman in this spot instead of Mind Control. And our play is just to set Dekoichi, set Shoot, and pass. I guess you could set the Wing Blast as well, because if he has Breaker, you just send that back. So this is actually better. Standby phase, we're going to Dust Shoot him, and then he, of course, is going to chain his Rugeki Break, probably in our monster, throwing away the Serpent. And we made the right play there. Send back a Dragon, of course. And now we know he set Serpent. So we should be setting our Sangan, no reason to attack anything, and just pass. He sets Ring, and then he sets Jar and uses it. He should know that this card is not Trap Dust Shoot, because I would simply Trap Dust Shoot him again to take his Serpent. So he's playing around, Shoot, but there's just no way that this card is Shoot. So now this is kind of the power of Mind Control here. He doesn't think we have a Nobleman or a Mind Control right now because we used Nobleman on turn 1. And now we're going to get to Dekoichi. In the draw phase, we have an interesting choice of, like, we don't have an interesting choice, but we would have if we had a monster in hand, whether to play around his trap dust shoot. But of course, we just go to standby phase, and he says, okay. Here we mind control the new set. It's Dekoichi, we draw. And no reason to do anything except set the ring and pass. He draws Magician of Faith. He attacks our set. We should be letting this go through. For searching, we should be probably taking Serpent because of our set Wing Blast, and is what we decided to do. So this is a cool play that I like doing, especially when you have 2 Wing Blasts. It's kind of showing the power of Wing Blast. So yes, I have this Nobleman, right? And we could just easily Nobleman a new card. We would never Nobleman the Serpent because we know what it is. But we can actually set our opponent back a turn, meaning that he draws this set that we have an answer to for actually 3 turns, this being turn 1, then 2, then 3. It's kind of what I like to do for controlling tempo. And yes, obviously we're drawing very well, but still managing the resources is important. So we spin back his Faith, even though we already have a Nobleman, and we should just be setting a Wing Blast and passing. He, of course, is going to do the same play. Here, we should be probably ringing this. There's no reason to take it. Yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of, one could say it's a waste, but I like to keep my life points high in situations when I'm ahead, because the only way I'm going to lose this match is going to be by, like, taking unnecessary amounts of damage. And you know, I don't know that this card is ringed, so I'm actually kind of even happier with my play that we ringed it. Reason being is, like, let's say I take it and I draw, you know, something to beat over it, like a breaker. I'm going to take an extra 16. I'm going to take 1600 there, and then he got me for an extra 14 for no reason. So yeah, he is going to probably set his Faith and pass. We draw Snatch. In this spot, I think our Wing Blast is too important. We should probably use the Nobleman now. The jig is up, and we could probably set Space Typhoon and end, keeping the Serpent in our hand. We decide not to, which is okay. He tributes for Thunder Dragon, so we should just be probably Wing Blasting this now. No reason to take this 16. Yeah, and now we've ruined his next draw. So again, Wing Blast showing the power of why it's so good. You know, Regeki Break would have just killed the killed the Thunder Dragon, and now he's going to draw back dead. And we got a chance to spin him back last turn, so Wing Blast is kind of flexing right now. Draw Thunder Dragon, which is a good draw. And we know he's drawing Thunder Dragon for turn, so I think we just set the Serpent and set MST and pass. He picks up his Serp. Yeah, this is fine. Tribute it off. We have Snatch Steal to protect from a Chaos Monster, and we can't really die next turn, so no matter what, even if he drew PLS. So we should be MSTing a new one. Hits Jar, pick up our Serpent, and just attack the unknown but likely Serpent. And we should be setting our Dekoichi. Old me would have set the Storm here, but in reality, it doesn't really accomplish much in the Turbo Mirror. I learned a long time ago that setting Storm against a good player, actually Ivan Rosito taught me this, in the Turbo Mirror doesn't really accomplish much because you're never really going to get a true plus. Like, you're not going to get a Mirror Force and a Torrential, for example. You know, you might get a Mirror Force and like a ring, but the ring is just going to be chained to your guy, and you also have risk of Breaker. Like, Breaker's not gone, so I'm happy I didn't set the Storm here. So he gets an interesting draw. He draws Sorcerer, and he decides not to bring it out, and I don't blame him. There's not really any pressure here, and we get a phenomenal draw of BLS. It is active, so we draw from Dekoichi. And we draw Reaper here. So we don't have lethal anyway, way we cut it. We could summon the Reaper and attack with BLS. BLS go, but that's still short. It's only 6,000, so we can't kill him this turn. I think that we should not be storming. I think we should just be like attacking and then maybe setting the Reaper. A passive route. We don't want to really blow this game. We are ahead, and I think that there's really no way we can lose game one unless we like run into a big Mirror Force or a Torrential, which we won't do. So I think the play is just attack with Dekoichi or maybe attack with Thunder Dragon. I like attacking with Thunder Dragon better, but just in case it is Tsukiyomi, but it's unlikely that he would set that. So we get a great trade here, and we're even happier about our ring ourselves earlier on the Dekoichi. Now we should be setting the Spirit Reaper. And yeah, you can set Torrential too, just in case like some OTK is coming. We are at 5,000. He gets a phenomenal draw of Charity, and so like that's his Trinity piece to ours. Mind you, he did open 2 Thunder Dragons, so we still are drawing better than he is, but he's going to get a lot of value from this with a Serpent and a Night Assailant. Takes back his Dekoichi. And now Don't Copy's left with an interesting spot. Does he bring out the BLS? Does he just go Breaker? What does he do? And he decides to go Breaker. We're obviously not going to Torrential this. We have a face down Spirit Reaper, and He did draw Trap Dust Shoot, so he probably wants to see our hand and then decide whether he wants to commit. So he's probably checking for Snatch Steal, which is what we do have. We take the 200, and this was a big turn for him. He got +2 on his breaker, killing our TT and killing our Dekoichi. And then he got a huge plus off of the Graceful Charity, throwing away his Serpent and throwing away a Knight Assailant, taking back Dekoichi. So huge turn for him. It couldn't have went any better. And we have to draw for our turn. And he has to send back BLS or it's game, right? So because we would just summon the Serpent and attack, that'd be 600, and the BLS would get him for 14 and 3,000, so it'd be exactly lethal. So he has to send BLS, and he knows what's coming here. He doesn't know that this is Reaper, but this Reaper is about to just go in really hard. Proper order, obviously, you got to clear the Kaiku. Sorry, you got to clear the breaker. So Kaiku's going to attack. It should be taking a light and taking, because he's getting a dark off of this. Should be taking a light and taking the Serpent. We take a dark. I guess it's marginal, but I think that taking a light would be better. And Reaper connects, so Reaper gets a miss, but that's okay. And then now he sets his Storm, which is what kind of I was talking about. Us drawing Breaker is good. I think that we should be summoning it, and we have Snatch for like follow-up plays if he brings out anything. So we do have to summon the Breaker. We do summon it, shoot the card, and this one's just kind of over. Attack with the Breaker, and then attack with Kaiku. See what Reaper hits here. And Kaiku's just putting in the work. See, if we took his light earlier, we would have gotten all the lights. So that's kind of what I was talking about. You'd have no more lights except a BLS. And now we just storm, and we have game no matter what because we drew a beater. So we chain, take out the Kaiku, but we still have like lethal with the Suki. So let's go into the next game here. For siding, I like to put in aggressive cards like I've talked about before when you're going second in the mirror match. Reason being is that people side Kaiku and they side a whole bunch of mind controls. So having cards that are aggressive and just looking to win the game off of like doing damage and, especially when you're going second is better. Always think that your opponent is going to T-set in the mirror match. It's the best opening move. So have great plays to respond to a T-set, which is kind of the value of Spirit Reaper, right? So we have these mind controls, we have these Reapers. Normal summoning Reaper and mind controlling a set is very powerful. Even if it's a bluff, we'll flip it up and we'll attack with the Reaper. And if it's Mirror Force, he's going to lose his card. So very powerful stuff that you have with Reaper in that situation responding to a C set, which is kind of the reason why I played the deck that day. He has a good hand, but so do we. He hits our duo, but thank God we have Serpent at least. So he does his dragons. And in his perspective, I think he should just be setting Regeki Break and passing. No reason to set Knight Assailant, which is what he does. We pick this up, check for Trap Dust Shoot, and it's fine. We should be pot agreed here. And I think summoning Sangan and attacking is good. I also think setting Sangan is good. But attacking might be a little bit better because we have this Call and Sangan have great synergy. So I think summoning Sangan would be the better play in this spot, but we choose to set it and pass. Setting the Sangan in this case, it will tempt him to Mind Control or Nobleman, but again, we don't really want it to be Nobleman, so we're kind of hoping to hit a Mind Control. Now we're left in an interesting situation of like, okay, what is the first card that he gives us? It's not going to be Faith. He would have probably test for Nobleman or something before, so do we use this Nobleman? Do we not? I think we still have to. We should be summoning the Gorilla now, and now Nobleman. Yeah. Okay, so he has to decide if he's going to take the Gorilla hit. He has no way to clear it except using the Mind Control, which would be a great trade for us, to be honest. And he decides to eat damage, and we should be setting Call and passing. He draws Spy, which is a phenomenal draw, especially because we just burned our Nobleman, and then he sets another Regeki Break, so he has 2 chainables down. And we should just be attacking, and obviously he'd be letting that go through. And now we should be setting our own Spy to bait out a Nobleman or a Mind Control, because if this gets Mind Controlled, we don't really care. There's going to be, now we have our own Spy, and like we'll get it back, and then he'll have what, 3 spies? That's fine. Tribes. It's going to take a tribe to clear these anyways. So yeah, setting our Spy is fine. He does Mind Control our card, and he sees it's a Spy, so he'll flip it up. And it's a neutral trade here. And again, like I described, we're really happy with this trade. Protecting our Magician of Faith again. We're not giving him that. And he sets his Sangan and passes. He could have set his Knight Assailant, which would be a way to clear, but I guess in his perspective, he wants his Knight Assailant to like recoup one of these spies or recoup a future Faith. So yeah, it's fine. He doesn't really get much of clearing our board. Here we have to attack with Gorilla, so we attack the face down. And if I'm don't copy, I'm actually going to search Yugioh to start clearing my Gorilla and stuff. But he thinks differently, and he takes Faith. Faith in this spot doesn't really do much, in my opinion. It takes back Mind Control and Duo, but I have Serpent, so it's kind of close. And now we set one of our 2 Faiths, which is fine. And he chooses to Regeki break our set. And now I think if I'm don't copy, I'm going to set this Faith that I just drew. It's been tested for many turns that I don't have Nobleman or Mind Control. And now he sets the Knight Assailant, which is kind of counterintuitive to what I was talking about earlier. Having the Knight Assailant is a great way to take back your Faith for later, and you just drew Snatch, so which is a 1-for-1 to take out my Gorilla at least, so he could Snatch Steal, put it in defense, and then Snatch will go to the grave, and at least you can get your Snatch back, right? But him setting the Knight Assailant here is not what I would have done, and then he should be taking out probably our Spy. Chooses to take out our Gorilla, which is what we're really happy with, and now we should be setting our Faith. We just secured more lights, and we tested for Mind Control last turn, which we didn't get. And now he has to think, do I Regeki break this set, or what do I do? He brings out Chaos, takes our Sangan, which is a very juicy offer for him. We obviously have no response, and a lot of spellcasters on the board, guys. We pause, he says okay, and we take here Pot of Greed, obviously. Phenomenal draws. We have so many ways to clear. I think that we should be taking the set with the Mind Control because this Sork isn't really doing much. We have Book to chain it for when he decides to target something, and we can just always clean it up later. Like, his board is also clogged, so I think here we should be Mind Controlling the set. And now this puts don't copy an interesting spot, and he actually has to take out his own face down. So I remember when this happened, I was like, okay, that's fine. He's like super desperate. And I think our play is we just normal summon Suki and put it on the Spy. Yes. So here's an interesting spot. Putting it on the Faith, while that's cool, actually leaves yourself open to taking a lot of damage. I think we should be flipping this up because Tribe is not going to come down and clear this up. And this plays around Nobleman, so we just take the quick instant plus and just set the Book and pass. So remember, we have Call set as well. And look what he did draw. He did draw Tribe. So Tribe's going to banish this. We should not be using our Book. The Book is key to be getting another Faith resolve, and he chooses to banish. It's fine. Here we should be booking our Faith, obviously. No reason not to. We should take back Mind Control because we need a way to clear the board. We're so ahead right now, Pot is not really as powerful as Mind Control. And in here, we just let the crash happen. And he ends his turn, doesn't set the Snatch as a bluff. In the end phase, we should be taking back Faith to Tsukiyomi, loop it again. And this one here, we should be taking Pot from. Flip it up, take back Pot, activate Pot, and now we just have lethal. So, yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes the Turbo Mirror is like this, where you just kind of get all the cards you want. It's very important to still close out those games. Not much that you could learn necessarily from this replay, like, oh wow, AJT did something so amazing. But what you can learn is how to close out a game and how to make sure that you don't throw it. There were many lines and opportunities in this game where, like, if I set the Faith too early into a Mind Control or not tested out cards, it could have went other way because we would have got Delinquent in it again and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yes, we did definitely outdraw our opponent. But this replay I just kind of uploaded it to show the power of Spirit Reaper and show the power of, Call. And so, yeah, we ended up winning this 3v3. And again, shout outs to our team, Pat Goats, Bobby Buckets, and Marcus Hayden, 2 phenomenal players. And congratulations to us. Thank you very much for watching, and bye.